episode of Travelogue. Come and explore Zhenjiang City, which used to guard the mighty Yangtze in Jiangsu province. Be enthralled by the ancient history of its ferry port, and visit a UNESCO Heritage local residence with a charming Southern Chinese architecture. It's all happening here on Travelogue.
Welcome to Travelogue's Jiangsu series. I'm Greta Georges. We're here in Zhenjiang, where the Grand Canal and the Yangtze intersect each other. Now, Zhenjiang means garrison of the sea, and it used to guard the mighty Yangtze.
Sitting on the southern bank of the Yangtze River, Zhenjiang, a city in Jiangsu province, has its prosperity linked to the construction of the Grand Canal. Zhenjiang borders Nanjing on the west and Shanghai on the east, and its port is a convenient stopover for cargo and passenger transportation. This dynamic city even boasts of mountains that add depth to its already rich landscape, while the surrounding waters are a blessing to its economic fortunes. To better understand this city, the best place to start is ZHENJIANG Ancient Ferry Port.
ZHENJIANG Ancient Ferry Port is strategic and important here in Zhenjiang. The river Yangtze is over there. It's about 100 meters back, and it retreated due to soil deposits. Now, we're really lucky because here is actual archaeological evidence that the port used to be right at this spot, and you can imagine the flow of traffic, people, goods, and they will enter Zhenjiang via this point.
ZHENJIANG Ancient Street might only be 1 kilometer long, but its history dates back to 1,800 years ago, and it flourished in the Tang and Song dynasties. Since Zhenjiang's port was located here, seafarers coming from both ends of the Yangtze would dock at this lively stopover point. I could only imagine life in the ancient times was abuzz with trading activities.
If you look here, there's a platform, and workers used to push their carts up on a single wheel, creating this indentation on the path. It just goes to show how it's just been weared and teared throughout the centuries of use.
There are clues everywhere of Zhenjiang's once colorful past. ZHENJIANG had witnessed many battles, and its stage was also a set where seamen anticipated the rough journey ahead. Naturally, one of the most pressing issues back in the days was safety.
The Yangtze River is like a frontier, so naturally, it's dangerous for a seaman to head out and to make that dangerous voyage. Who's going to pray for them? Well, locals thought of a brilliant idea. They built a pagoda right up there. Now, it's unusual for a pagoda to be on top of a bridge between two streets, but every time they walk underneath, it's like they're praying to the heavens for a safe passageway.
The seas were rough and treacherous, so it was wise to seek a bit of protection. Locals turned to Guanyin for spiritual help. Guanyin is a popular goddess in Chinese folk belief, worshipped for her unconditional love and compassion. Here in Zhenjiang, locals regard the goddess of mercy as the ultimate protector of fishermen, sailors, and anyone out at sea.
This cave is as old as the port, and all the Guanyin statues here has been donated by the local residents.
Although the Yangtze is now situated further away from this old port, Guanyin still sits firmly in her spot. ZHENJIANG might not be the thriving busy port, but you can imagine what it looked like during its heydays. This quaint street still features a traditional type of wafer from the past. We stumbled into a family-run business, and the man who's carrying the torch for ZHENJIANG.
嗨，师傅你好。
你好，你好。
你在做什么啊？
状元饼。
状元饼。做多久了？这个饼？
我这个饼做了，我这个饼做了40几年了。
40几年了。
哎，这个饼的历史有100多年。有100多年历史。
您觉得西京路好不好？
过去西京路称为小码头，小码头街的嘛，就是 很繁华的地段的，市中心对吧？城市的市中心点就在我们这里。
这饼好吃吗？
好吃。
好吃。可以试一个吗？
可以试个。
哦。
你吃的。
好，谢谢。Really crispy and very good. 走了，再见。
Xijingdu's historical presence gives you a glimpse of Zhenjiang's once glorious past without the stuffiness of a museum. Meeting the local people here has given this place a distinct character that is truly memorable. And what I'm going to sample next will also be deeply edged in my mind.
It is essential to try seafood here because we're right next to the Yangtze River. Expect great variety of fish, crustaceans. Why? Because we're in this part of China and it's a yummy-licious opportunity.
The Yangtze is the longest river in China, and it abounds with freshwater fish. But the pièce de résistance here does not come cheap at 400 RMB a pop. So the best time to chomp on it is in April.
There's a delicacy here in China, and if you ingest it along with its poison, this is what happens. First, there'll be a deadening of the tongue and the lips. Secondly, you'll feel numbness, lightheaded, dizzy, and start to vomit. Then you have rapid heart rate increasing, decreased blood pressure, and you have muscle paralysis. Now that follows by suffocation because your lungs would fail. This delicacy can kill about 12 elephants and wipe out a human in 10 minutes. It's none other than the pufferfish.
These chefs have a unique and important responsibility. To ensure this delicacy is safe for consumption, it's crucial to detoxify the liver. It seems like the novelty here is eating a fish that could be potentially fatal, and it was hard to shy away from the challenge, but I still needed a little coaxing from me.
Even though I can pull a pufferfish face, I'm still deliberating whether I should eat it. All right, tails, not. Heads, yes. To eat or not to eat. All right. Oh, 你好，师傅，你好，你好。哇，真的好漂亮。可是师傅，我知道河豚鱼是带有毒的，对吗？
是的。
对。那你有执照吗？有。有啊。I think I'm gonna try and get him to try it first. 师傅，要不你先请吧。可以。师傅，你做这儿有多久了
21年。
21年了。那师傅，我相信你有很长的经验。OK， 我一定要试一下。All right。我真的好吃。Well, if you don't see me in the next episode, you know what happened. But this is pretty good. 真的不错。你煮的蛮好。We're going to be visiting a UNESCO heritage site today, but what's really interesting, it's actually a private residence of the Zhang family. We're going to meet the owner. Hi, 你好。
你好，欢迎，好，请请。
This family of Chinese medical doctors has their roots firmly planted in this Zhenjiang courtyard residence. For over 100 years, they bore witness to all neighbors leaving and the dramatic changes to their environment. This is not your traditional run-of-the-mill tourist spot, as the Zhang family still live here. But they don't shy away from the occasional knock on the door.
在民居里面非常讲究风水。你像这个是正门，这是大门。这个正门跟大门它不能在一条线。
为什么呢？
它是因为这个用邪气啊，它这个照壁就挡住了。这个不叫南眼，这个是给你进来以后啊，从心情上一个压抑。压抑以后呢，不要心从中朝里跑。你看它这个先给你停下，欣赏这个透窗。这个房子呢，是从这边呢就要走回廊了。 是会的，所以没有什么事情呢，那个门呢不怎么开，是从这走。这个你看这个门，这个门是叫什么？叫腰门啊。这个腰门就跟腰一样那一块，哎，叫你走。你看我们俩走不过来，走不过来，哎，走不过来，哎，不要一个人走过来，哎，一个人走过来。
You can't. You have to take the time, pause, and appreciate everything here. Just slows you down. The architecture of this courtyard cleverly creates the illusion of space. Even windows and doors are like picture frames that generate another point of view. Built according to geometry laws, this residence is designed to harmonize with nature. Most of the decor here has a story behind it, as it's steeped in the history of southern Chinese architecture, with an elegant feel.
你另外还有一个感觉，就是这个大树下面好乘凉，这个大树下面好乘凉。
Good things come in small packages. Southern Chinese open courtyards are more petite than those found in the north, but they too pack a punch. All in all, this architectural relic has won over my heart as the Zhengs fought tooth and nail to keep everything intact. And what's still intact here is the bizarre cooking. Their version of the humble noodles might leave you scratching your head for good reason.
Zhenjiang's culture is a mix of northern and southern customs, language, and eating habits. And that includes noodles for breakfast. But the major selling point is that they cook the pot cover along with the noodles.
Zhenjiang's unique position as a transitional point has its benefits. Besides promoting and facilitating the flow of goods and people, eating habits are exchanged too. What's even more surprising is that the chef has to jump on this massive dough to knead it out, and that is probably the secret to its unique texture.
老板，为什么你要跳面呢？
跳到面好吃啊，有劲道啊。
Noodles might be a staple from the north, but Zhenjiang has transformed it into its own speciality here in the south.
哎，老板娘，为什么你要把锅盖放进去呢？
锅盖它就是面条再挤下，压再挤下，四面透气啊，面条煮不烂啊。
然后它这个锅盖会不会影响到它的味儿呢？
不会。
哦，是吗？然后煮出来的就是一团。
对，一团一团的，它不好散开啊。
I see. Okay, so there's a reason why they put the cover in, because at first it's a wooden pot cover, and so it's fruity. It gives it a good aroma, and it also helps for them to know when it's boiled, and it keeps the noodles in one pile.
In the olden days, port workers needed a cargo overload to get on with the arduous task with loading their goods. Their version of a fast food provided a kickstart to the day, which has become a timeless favorite. Now, Zhenjiang people might have a passion for their noodles, but they also share a similar zest for this other locally produced product.
Well, I guess if you're in Zhenjiang, there's only one thing to do, and that's to visit a vinegar museum. Ooh, I'm salivating now. This is a funky smell. I like the way they've built this place. It's a traditional warehouse, just like how they would make vinegar in the past. You know, awesome.
This vinegar museum has a factory just behind it, churning out bottles of vinegar that has overpowered the area with its strong smell. Here, an old showroom has been constructed according to the brewing vinegar workshop of the 1920s. So visitors can get a sense of how the entire process works.
我们酿醋呢，现在酿酒，首先要精选优质的糯米，洗浸泡，然后放在这个大灶里面蒸熟。我们在这边看到的这个3口大灶呢，就是我们用于蒸糯米饭的。这边呢，刚好蒸好了一锅糯米饭。 可以闻到一股很浓厚的一个米饭味。 这个地方呢，就是我们做醋胚的一道工序，把已经成熟的酒呢放到这个缸里面，然后呢半露麸皮和稻糠。看我们这个老师傅呢，就是在这边翻飞。这个呢就是我们的醋胚，可以闻一下这个味道。
It's strong. 师傅，你这每天要搅的吗？
每天一次。
每天一次，那要多长时间呢
？21天。
Locals say working in this environment naturally guards them against the common cold, and they even boldly claim that none of their workers ever had cancer. This is a mystery that I certainly cannot wrap my head around, though I might take it with a pinch of salt. There is certainly more to vinegar than its tangy taste. It has also many vitamins and mineral salts, and for thousands of years it's been valued for its healing properties. From the apothecaries to the chef's pot, this healthy seasoning can play a healing part in our lives.
Bring water to boil for 10 minutes, mix in with a little vinegar, sprinkle some spring onion, drink the concoction, and that should alleviate you from your flu. Reducing inflammation from mosquito bites. Vinegar has lots of remedies that you can use. Blood pressure. Stinky feet. No more smelly armpits. If you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift, well, look no further, because you can put your very own face on a vinegar bottle. Here goes, with that smile.
Personalize your own stylish or goofy bottle of black magic, known throughout China. Your unique bottle of vinegar will cause a stir, as friends and families will definitely find it loads of fun. At 30 RMB, it's well worth the money.
In Chinese, 吃醋 means to have vinegar, and it also has a double meaning that you're jealous of someone because it leaves that sour feeling in your heart. So if you've got any haters out there who's jealous of you, you can send them this.
Zhenjiang has a wealth of hills in its own backyard, and interestingly enough, most are stamped with their own religion. Jiaoshan, Beigushan, and Jingshan are the trios that share this unique feature. Since Jingshan is infused with Buddhism as well as other mythical tales, this is a visitor's favorite, so we decided to head up there.
Zhenjiang's position as an ancient busy port has really encouraged the spread of beliefs, and they say if you stroke on this baby and you touch yourself wherever it hurts, it helps to alleviate the pain. My spot? Back is killing me.
Founded in Eastern Jin dynasty, for 1,600 years, Buddhism flourished in Jingshan Temple, but it earned its fame through its unique water ceremonial procession. Water has a special place in many religious practices, as it cleanses spiritually and physically to prepare the person to enter a place of worship. Many believers pay to have this procession done for good luck and prosperity in their daily affairs. Besides experiencing this spiritual event, Jingshan is also the backdrop to an epic mythical love story. An Eastern version of Romeo and Juliet, Madame White Snake, takes a leaf from the inspirational surroundings here. This story is so popular that it has been adapted into television series, opera dramas, and books.
Now the story goes like this. Madame White Snake fell in love with a mere mortal, and that was against the laws of heaven. So a monk cast him away, her love, in this place, and she used the river around the area to flood the temple to save him.
It seems to me that the legend has its roots here precisely because of its unique geographical location. Surrounded by water, you can climb on top of Cishou Pagoda for a bird's-eye view. To catch a glimpse of such a gorgeous scene right in the middle of the city is a pleasant surprise. The picturesque view on the outskirts of Zhenjiang did not fail to impress either. Maoshan is another spiritual sanctuary just 1.5 hours ride from the city center.
Taoism has given Maoshan much of its character, and they say that fortune telling is pretty accurate here. Now hordes of tourists come and pay their respects to the revered Taoist sage. How can they not? This is the world's largest bronze statue of Lao Tzu sitting on the mountain.
Due to its rich history, Maoshan Taoist Temple is a storehouse of lots of valuable cultural relics. Taoist believers consider this sacred space in Maoshan as the first holy land. The feng shui here is considered to be extremely, lucky. So besides the hordes of tourists, pilgrims flock here too for their showers of blessings.
Alright, so they say if you throw a coin in and you get it into the tower, almost, it's great blessings. One more time. Yes! Go on!
The atmosphere has steadily calmed down by a couple of notches with this special Taoist procession. A deep sense of peace and serenity is what I felt as the melodic chanting rang out. While many rightly associate Taoism with nature, it's also about reverence for ancestor spirits. After all, the bedrock of Taoist values are compassion, moderation, and humility. The Tao, or the Way, is the holy grail to enlightenment in this Eastern philosophy, and I'm just getting clues from this very animated sage on how to live mightily. Lots of people come here for fortune telling as they seek guidance to become better people in this life. This priest seems to be the star attraction here. He has a jolly nature and an infectious spirit, and everyone was all ears when he spoke. Well, who wouldn't like to hear about their own lives and possible destinies?
你看这个上面有一句话讲得很清楚，看到吧？等修文福如皮，等于呢，人要有什么时候？人最清醒的时候是什么时候呢？是在倒霉的时候。人最糊涂的什么时候呢？就是在等于的时候。还不晓得这我的话对不对？晓得吧？你呢，这讲是个女孩，男孩性格，人挺好，就是太单纯。
He's just telling me about my character.
婚姻上要走好，你这个爱人啊，倒像个姑娘，蛮文雅的，就是一个倔脾气。
It was surprising to get a reading here as I was just minding my own business. But for a fated moment, the priest wrote some wise words for my spiritual growth.
东方文化跟西方文化不同，男人要面子，你说话要给他这个面子，听到吧？记好4个字，沉默是金。我把你写起来，我把你写起来。来，过来，我把你写起来。
Too bad we're interrupting his session.
Yeah.
Told me everything about my marriage. This is so strange.
沉默是金。还要写一句，静水深流。
谢谢。
OK，
谢谢。
别的嘴吧。
My life on a piece of paper, right there.
Maoshan seems to be such a destination of genuine worship and spiritual seeking. I don't know if I can align myself to the cosmic forces, but if it's going to improve my well-being, maybe I just have to listen to the priest's good advice.
The priest told me that I have to talk less, but it's a little difficult given my job. So all I have to say is Zhenjiang's beauty can be felt through its people, culture, landscape, and history. But words can't seem to contain this natural wonder of this small city. It has to be felt and experienced. My name is Greta Georges, and this has been Travelogue.